Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chronicle, where I talk about my daily life, weekly goals, and the overarching plot of my life. Wow, my hair looks messy. So not only is it up in a ponytail, quote unquote, the only reason also I noticed I looked back and I was like, wait, do people think it's weird how I keep saying quote unquote when I say that my hair is up? Because it obviously looks like my hair is like kind of up, right? It's not, down. Um, the reason I always say that it's up with quotes is because it's like it doesn't look good. Like if it like were, if it looked nice, I'd be like, yeah, my hair is up, and I wouldn't use the quotes. But because it looks messy, I say that my hair is up, or in a ponytail, which is, I mean, right now it's kind of falling over sideways, but that's fine. Um, so today, pretty good day, pretty decent day. Let me see. I used my day planner today. Um, the things I was supposed to do today was eat, shower, dredge, headphones, practice, catch up, KU website, and Target. We got all those done mostly. Hold on, I got a Sharpie. Okay. Oh, wait, did I mark the goals last week? I don't think I did. Yeah, I don't think I marked them last week. Okay. So we did not. I guess we technically didn't do dredge, practice, or guitar catch up. Um, One, two, three, four, five. So we did five things that we had scheduled, and we didn't do three of them. I didn't do dredge because actually, wait, should I go over today's events first? Yeah, and then I'll give my excuses. Um, I woke up at what I would guess was about 5 a.m. Because Ink goes in at 6 a.m. now for some reason, which means I would guess that she has to wake up earlier than 6 a.m. So it was probably 5, I think, when I heard her make a noise. And then I fell back asleep until 7:30. The thing is that remember how I talked about what was it? I would always wake up. At one point, I tried moving my clock in time to 8:30, but my body was so used to waking up at 7:30 instead of 8. I would always wake up at 7:30. And then if I tried to go back to sleep at 7:30 and sleep for that extra half hour, I always felt worse after that extra half hour of sleep. And that's kind of what it's like with getting woken up early in the morning. It's like even though I slept for like another like hour, maybe hour and a half after I was woken up, it feels bad, because my whole sleep overall was interrupted. So that kind of sucks. Um, yeah. Went to work. Work was fine. I left for a doctor's appointment. That was tomorrow. So funny story. I had my follow-up appointment after the colonoscopy. I thought it was today. Turns out it was actually tomorrow. So I'm at work. I have my snacks. It's a 10 a.m. break, and then I go to the GI specialists, and I say, "Hey, I'm here for an appointment." And then I hear the doctor who's supposed to see me in the back. She goes, "Isn't that supposed to be tomorrow?" And then I look at the date, and today's the 6th. My appointment's on the 7th. I knew that, but I thought today was the 7th, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're right. I'm supposed to be here tomorrow." And she goes, "Oh, I had a 10:30 cancellation. Put him down there." And I was like, "That's extremely lucky and fortunate, because I had gotten there at 10:33, 15 minutes early for my 10:45, right?" And then she was like, "I had a cancellation at 10:30. Put him down there." And I was like, "Perfect." So she actually gave me this little paper. Let me bring it up with stuff on it. Um, I guess we can talk about that right now. So the instructions from the GI specialist was drink 60 to 90 ounces of water daily, take 2 teaspoons of benefiber in 8 ounces of water daily. Uh, you make take 1 capful of Miralax and 8 ounces of water if needed for constipation. Avoid prolonged sitting on toilet. Avoid constipation. Recommended taking omeprazole 20 milligrams daily. That's the actual name of the drug, Prilosec. Prilosec is the brand name. The drug itself is named omeprazole. 20 milligrams daily is just an antacid. 30 to 45 minutes before breakfast on an empty stomach. You can buy this over the counter. Avoid NSAIDs and alcohol. Pathology showed some mild chronic gastritis. I have ordered a lab to be done at LabCorp to check your elevated bilirubin further. Yeah, so bilirubin was, like I said, long story short, it's something that is in your blood. I had more than normal amounts. She said it's possible you have this benign disease where you simply have more of that in your blood. Or so I'm gonna take gonna do one more test for that to see if I have a benign disease or which means a non-harmful disease. Um, or if it was maybe just I don't know out of range one time. I would assume there's nothing like I said, it's been so worst case scenario. I have a benign disease that doesn't actually do anything, other than help doctors, for like, why is this higher? And it's like, oh, because I have that benign disease where that's higher. Yeah. So yeah, so NSAIDs. It said avoid NSAIDs and alcohol because of the mild chronic gastritis. NSAIDs are essentially ibuprofen. NSAIDs, that's an acronym for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. More specifically, ibuprofen. So essentially, avoid ibuprofen or anything with ibuprofen in it. Um, and which kind of sucks because it's like, what if I have a headache? I can't take that. Well, I could. It's just that it's recommended that I don't. I guess I could take like Tylenol or something. But yeah, so I thought that was a bit odd. The alcohol makes sense. Actually, I guess the NSAID did too as well because I've heard those can be hard on your stomach versus Tylenol, which is you goes through your liver and then the yeah. I'm not a doctor. That's just what I know. Is it true? Who knows? Not me. That's for sure. Anyway, yeah, but I'm not a heavy drinker either. And even when I do drink, it's usually at most like 3 drinks at a time. Um, like rarely. Like I said, I only drink socially, never alone. So actually, that's very rarely alone. I think like a couple times in recent memory. And I know they've been documented here. Yeah, point is, it's been a while, and I don't often drink alone, so that's not really a huge issue. But yeah, so that was my instructions from the GI specialist. Benefiber, I did see at Target while I was there earlier. It's just like a fiber supplement. I mean, that's what it says, but it's like, do I need to do that? My poop's been coming out pretty okay. Um, Not really any constipation. And then she also mentioned the internal hemorrhoids, and she was like, "That's probably fine. Just avoid sitting on the toilet for a while and avoid being constipated, and then presumably this will go away." Is what I think she is meant when she said that. She just said, "Don't sit on the toilet for a while and don't get constipated," and that's like she said that with the conviction of that will fix it. And I was like, "All right." I don't really plan on getting constipated, but it's not something that you usually plan to do. It usually just happens in my experience. Of course, not like there's been I think twice in my life where I was like majorly constipated as like when I was younger. But like it wasn't something I did on purpose as far as I'm aware. It's not something I don't plan on getting constipated anytime soon. So yeah, that should be good. And yeah, the Miralax is like again, it's like it's optional. It said if needed. So yeah, maybe I'll go buy a fiber supplement. I thought it was fairly expensive until I saw the bulk version, which has 250 servings, for like 25 bucks. And I was like, okay, that's almost a whole year. So that's cool. But yeah, so that was the result of the doctor's appointment that was supposed to happen tomorrow. But fortunately, it happened today, and we got that. Doo-doo-doo. All right, so then I got back from my doctor's appointment and I kept working. Then I had lunch. Lunch was good. Just cottage cheese and chips. Yeah, I'm not strictly following my meal plan. Like today, I was supposed to have tuna for lunch and dogs and mac for dinner, but I had cottage cheese and chips for lunch and a smoothie for dinner. And also, speaking of eating, I should have had another meal. um, I knew that, but as you guys know, I don't feel hunger anymore. So whoopsies, I didn't eat another meal like I probably should have. But I'm gonna go to bed in like 10 minutes anyway. Um, yeah, so then I had lunch, kept working, work was good. Went home, made a smoothie, showered, played a mission of Helldivers. And then I know I washed one of the things on my to-do list today was headphones, which specifically was to clean the the ear pads. What do you call those? Not earmuffs, because like earmuffs are a different thing. Like the cushions that go on your ears. I needed to clean those because they get dirty. So I did that. They're now drying. They're probably gonna be wet in the morning still, which kind of sucks, but they'll be clean, so that's good. I just get really grossed out because they start turning brown because of the coffee, not because it's dirty, but because it's coffee-y. Um, but yeah, so ate, shower, didn't do dredge. I ended up playing Helldivers, and then I was supposed to kill the Ender Dragon with my coworkers, but they all like low key flaked. And the thing is that you can't really flake if you never say you're gonna be there. One guy was like, "I'm probably free tonight," and I was like, "Okay, cool." So then I said, "Guys, tonight we're doing it." And then he's like, "Oh, but I haven't had dinner and I'm tired." And I was like, "Oh, brother, this guy stinks." You know what I'm saying? And then I had one other coworker who he wasn't talking about it all enthusiastically like he was gonna hop on, but I would assume he didn't hop on because he saw that the other guy wasn't hopping on. And yeah, I didn't want to kill it under Dragon solo. I definitely could. It's just I would feel rude, and like I was leaving people out. But yeah, so I ended up kind of just playing some Helldivers and playing Minecraft like a little bit and doing nothing specific in Minecraft, just seeing if anyone would actually hop on. No one did. So that was sort of the time I spent the time playing Helldivers and Dredge. No, Helldivers and Minecraft that I would have spent playing Dredge. That's why I didn't do that. Clean my headphones. The target trip took longer than I thought it would, so unfortunately I have not practiced any instruments today, which is bad. I can still get 4 piano practices, but I cannot get 4 guitar practices. Or no, I think I practiced like once earlier in the week. Um, but yeah, so that's rough. But I mean, that's how it goes. The target trip took forever. I was trying so hard to find those thingies, dude. They're little rings of metal that you can put into your pan and you crack an egg in there, and then it looks really nice. And then it cooks really nice, and I can use those to make like breakfast sandwiches or like my little McMuffin thingies that I've been working on lately. I went to Price Chopper. I went to Walmart. I went to Target. Couldn't find them. I know my dad has some. I don't know how many. I'm thinking about asking if he has a surplus. I'll ask him. Otherwise, I'm just gonna order them on Amazon because I really want those. I think they could really improve my cooking game. You know, skill, style, whatever. So yeah, so kind of bummer, but the Target trip took longer, like way longer than I thought it would. It took kind of like an hour, maybe even longer. It was supposed to take like half an hour. Um, yeah, so I didn't do catch up. Didn't practice. I did check the KU website. Just kind of looking into what I might need to apply there. Now, the thing is like I like having all of my puzzle pieces in place before I actually try and put them in place. You know what I'm saying? Because when you know what I'm saying? Like that's the best way I can describe it. I like putting them in place and then actually pressing them. You know, like sending it right. The thing is that yeah, because like I don't want to be like start this application, go through these Zoom appointments, then to only realize oh the hero scholarship didn't go through, and I was banking on that, so now I'm cooked, right? So I'm kind of waiting for that to clear. It's been like it was Friday, which the government was probably off for a holiday. So there's only been like one business day really that those have been submitted for. I would assume I would get a follow-up email saying that it's approved. And then once I get that, then we can go full send apply at KU. Now the sooner the better, obviously, but it's like I don't want to apply, right? Literally go through the whole application process and then be like, oh, sorry, I'm backing out now. Because that's pretty much what I did last year is I was like, I got in, and then I was like, I'm in too deep. I gotta go now. And then I unenrolled. Um, but yeah, so I really want to not do that again. I really want to actually do it this time. And wow, oh my gosh, we're already at 12 minutes. It's supposed to be 4. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, this helped. Actually, this did do a little bit. I planned out my day and I started following it accordingly. And then the target trip took forever. But otherwise, I feel like we would have done everything. Otherwise, the dredge that doesn't matter that didn't get done. Because the goal of dredge was just to actually have fun a little bit and enjoy myself and my life. And I still did that with Helldivers in Minecraft. The catch up, yeah, and the practice, that's a bummer. But the target should be forever. So maybe I will try and stick to this again. Because I kept just beating myself up for not doing things. But in this case, it's not totally my fault. I guess I could have taken longer at Target, but I really wanted to find those things, dude. Yeah, I'll ask my dad, and then if he doesn't have extra, I'll order them off Amazon, and then we'll be good. Um, but yeah, so I believe that's everything for today. And honestly, the long entry is good because that means that I'm doing things. And if I'm doing things, that means I'm not depressed. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I felt a little bit depressed over the last few days, um, which obviously is not good. But I am, I'm doing things. I'm doing things. And that means I'm not depressed, which is good. I remember, kind of reminds me like my brothers, both of them, would presumably be so upset and bored that they would sleep during the day while at mom's house. And I specify because we were younger, which means we were going back and forth between houses because our parents were divorced. And sometimes my brothers would just sleep like during the day. I don't know if just because they didn't want to do anything else, but I was like, man, like really? Like why? Like I wanted to ask them, but I'd assume, like I said, I think it was because they were upset with how their life was going at the moment. So they're like, man, I can't, I just want to not do anything and go to sleep. That's just speculation. Like I said, I could ask them. I wanted to, but like I said, it seemed like they were upset, but it's also very possible that I'm just reading too much into it. Um, but yeah, it's like sleeping during the day, man. It's like, why? Like, what are you doing? Like, are you taking a nap? That's cool. That's totally fine. But are you sleeping because you can't do anything else? It's like, uh, yeah, I don't know. Um, Also a light bulb went out in the kitchen. So I bought a $13 light bulb. Why? Well, that's way too expensive, which is why I specify the price. They made way cheaper ones. But I wanted a warm light, and I couldn't find one singular light bulb that had a warm light. They always came in packs of two or four, and I'm like, I want one. I want exactly one light bulb. There was this one. It was a vintage style LED light bulb, which means it was made to look like it's like older, like in time. Um, and it's a bit warmer than the current light that's in there. So what I didn't know was that we've got two lights in the kitchen. I guess I just never bothered to look up, but we have two lights in the kitchen, and one of them was really bright white, and one of them was fairly bright, but it was a warmer color. So the brighter one went out, and then there's the warmer color in there, and I don't know why. Something is so comforting about the warmer light, like it almost feels like nostalgic. And I was like, this is amazing. Like this is an improvement. My mood is better when I'm in the kitchen now. So I wanted to make sure I still had the warm light, right? So I bought the expensive $13 warmer light, and the thing is, it's a bit warmer than the warm light, which makes it a little bit orange in there, only a little bit. Um, but it is warm. The lighting is warm, uh, and it's great, and it's worth it, and I really like it. Um, I can't remember how I got on that whole tangent. I think is it because I saw the light bulb. Look, there's a light. Here's the old light bulb. Right here. There it is. I have it in my room because I can't remember if you're supposed to dispose of those in a specific way or not. Like, aren't batteries kind of like that, where it's like you're not supposed to throw them away, or maybe you're supposed to throw them immediately away? I don't know. Now I have a dead light bulb on my bed. That's fine. Did I somehow get to that from the brothers sleeping because they're depressed tangent? Um, I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow, Tuesday. Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome to Tuesday. So today was weird. So yesterday's plans got sort of, I don't know, they got interrupted, for lack of a better word, because the target run was longer than normal. Today's plans got interrupted because I got home from work and I was making food, and I finished making the food and I was cleaning out the pot, and then Ink was like, "Hey, you want to talk?" And I was like, "Sure." She didn't use those exact words, but that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to paraphrase it for foreshadowing of what's to come. So she was like, "Hey, do you want to talk?" I was like, "Sure." So I cleaned my pot and I had my food and I was ready to eat it. And then she starts apologizing to me about just I think the thing is that's the thing is I was honestly pretty like frazzled for lack of a better word by this. Because I was like, oh, I never thought she would do that. Didn't know she could do that. Um, Apologize, I mean. So she was like, "Hey, sorry." And like it's weird. It was this weird half apology, this sort of unapology, if anything. She was like, "I feel like whenever I put in effort into a friendship, I expect the same amount, and I get upset when that doesn't happen." And something along those lines. But it was weird how it was like an apology, but also not really, because she was still justifying her actions. And I'm like, you don't get to justify yourself anymore. You don't justify yourself in an apology. Like you can, you definitely could, but like the an apology is not a time to keep your ego and your dignity about you. Like you're just supposed to say sorry straight up. And she did apologize for like nothing specific, just kind of how she's been generally, is how I interpret it. And that was because she broke up, quote unquote, with her boyfriend recently again. She got back with her ex. Technically, she didn't get back with him because, like I said, they were never technically officially together for a second time. But they were hanging out together. They were seeing each other, right? They were seeing each other. And then they broke up and it ended really badly. And then her boyfriend texted Rowdy because her boyfriend was friends with Rowdy and Parkour while they were together. So he texted Rowdy, and then I don't know what he told Rowdy, but Rowdy got so upset he sent a whole paragraph to Ink. And my boy pulled no punches. He's a straight shooter. He said exactly what he meant. So shout out Rowdy. Thank you, Rowdy. Love you, Rowdy. Give it up for him. Took one for the team. Um, by essentially that fable where there's the mice that have to put the bell on the cat. I think he put the bell on the cat. Problem is that the cat didn't leave the bell on there. Really, the cat never had the bell, like it didn't work. like she heard him, and it upset her, and she apologized, but she didn't internalize it. I was trying to talk to her. I was trying to talk to her without being accusatory and being like, super super direct. I was like, can't you see how like this and that, and it's like this and that. And then she would over explain herself and justify herself to the point where it's like by the time she was done talking, I'd forgotten what my point even was, and I don't know what point she tried to make just now. Um, like my main thing that I started with was like, I feel like you're not open-minded. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even get into it. But I was like, I feel like you're not open-minded because she'll sort of like, she's very like dismissive, or it's like the way she admitted this, the way that she like talks is so confident and sure of herself that it makes it seem like she is skeptic and distrusting of you. And I think it definitely feels like she is. And she even noticed the fact that the way she talks can make people feel that way, and she didn't see it as a problem. And I was like, in my head, that's the problem. Like, because everyone is seeing her like that. Um, and I don't think she's ever had a lifelong friend, and that is probably why. I think that speaks volumes. I feel like most people have, had friends for very long times. I don't know, maybe I'm just making that up in my head because I've had all of my friends since I was a kid. Um, but I don't know, I feel like my friends have had friends since they were kids, right? But it's like, ugh. It's like she's met, I think she said one dude who accepts that specific aspect of her where it just seems like she's so sure of herself all the time to the point where she was like, you've never brought up anything serious, like you've never brought up any serious problem with our friendship before. And I was like, well, what about this? And she was like, oh, I forgot about that. And I'm like that, like that right there is the problem. Where she was so sure of saying, you've never done this before. And I said, what about that time that I did it? She says, oh, I forgot. It's like that right there, where you're telling me that things are this way and that is objectively false, right? Like you build this sort of little picture, you paint this little picture in your head. The picture is Asher has never done this thing. And then I say, well, what about the time that I did do it? And you say, oh, I forgot. It's like, well, then don't sell me the picture saying I've never done this thing when I have done this thing, right? Like it feels invalidating. It's as if like what I did didn't matter at all, or just doesn't count, and that's what it feels like. And I really tried telling her that, but I don't know. I told her if she wants to know how I really feel, she can go back and watch Insanity Week Part Two, where I detailed it, and I told her that, and then she said she didn't want to, and I was like, okay. To be fair, I gave her a warning saying it's gonna be like the message that Rowdy sent her, where it's like, I think he expressed what everyone has been feeling, where it's like she's causing problems and she seems narcissistic. Um, and like I said, she heard that and she felt that. I just don't think she internalized it. Like what she did was she unadded everyone in the friend group, and I'm like, okay. I mean, sure. She was like, I think everything's too far gone, and I'm like, cool. Like that's valid, I guess. It's just not what I expected, which is why I'm a little confused. Um, yeah, she was like, I unadded everyone, and I was like, okay. And then she was like, I don't need this, and I was like, she was referring to the drama. She was like, I don't need this, I don't want this, and I'm like, okay, but also you're causing it. Yeah, so that happened today. Um, like I said, I feel the same way. I told her I have things I could tell you, but nothing that'll make you happy, and that is all in the video, which I said she could watch because that's the public one. Um, and she didn't want to, and I'm like, well, okay. Was it she had told Parkour that she was moving out? And then yesterday I talked with her and we discussed that yeah, we're splitting. And then she's saying, "Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do now." And I was like, "Okay, um, not moving with me, that's for sure." Um, but yeah, so that happened today, and then after that, or wait, did I shower before or after that? I think I showered after that. Yeah, after that, I played a little bit of Dead as Disco, and then I took a shower, and then I practiced piano, and now it's 10:18. I've got 42 minutes left in my day, and I'm kind of upset, not over the conversation, but over how long it took because I feel like I didn't get to do anything fun that I wanted to do today. Um, and that's not her fault. I could have just walked away from the conversation, but yeah, that is kind of the biggest thing that happened today. I did practice piano. I'll probably practice what I need to on guitar. Um, because yeah, I don't have the energy or the patience for a full practice. I think I'll play a little bit of Dead as Disco, and then I'll hmm, and then I'll make lunch for tomorrow, and then I'll practice what I need to on guitar, and then I'll go to bed. And I should be able to do all of that in time for the right time to go to bed. Um, but yeah, it just like I said, she heard what Rowdy said, but I just don't think she internalized it, right? She's not, it's like her eyes have not opened, essentially, is what it feels like. Like I said, I still felt the same way. It's just the way she talks, it just feels like I get no room. It feels like I can't get anywhere. I make no progress, you know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, maybe I should just directly accuse her, but that just seems not the right way to go about it. So I don't think I'll do that. But that's everything for today, I think. Yeah. And I'll see you all tomorrow, Wednesday. Hello, everyone, welcome back to Chronicle, and welcome to Tuesday. I was going to say Wednesday, and then I realized it wasn't Wednesday yet. Oh, it is Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday. So today was a good day, I would say. Um, Another unexpected event happened. After work, me and my younger sister went to. Sorry, I just read a text that says his girlfriend looks weird, like anatomically. What does that mean? Okay. Um. Anyway, that's the sibling group chat. We're all getting arrested if anyone reads those texts. Anyway, today was a good day. Woke up, slept like crap, because of course Ink's cat woke me up. Don't worry, see that behind me? Boom! I got massive hearing protection. Hopefully, I will not be able to be woken up by the cats anymore, and I'll be able to sleep good. That'll be awesome if that works. I don't think it'll be very comfortable because they're really big. Let me show you. Ooh, they're really big. They now the thing is the cool thing is they cover like literally my entire ears. Like literally my entire ear is in this cup thing. Which I feel like is pretty rare because I'm pretty sure I have like big ears. Which means that even sometimes big headphones won't cover my ears all the way. But like my ears fit all the way inside these things. Um, like I said, it might not be super comfortable to sleep with this thing on because I'm pretty sure I'll pretty much only be able to sleep on my back. Because if you sleep face down, I think you would die. And honestly, I can't sleep like I would assume it's not comfortable to sleep like with this thing on the side. But yeah, so slept like crap, and I got to work late. I'm pretty sure those two things are related. I could have sworn I set my alarm clock, but for some reason I woke up at 8:10 in the morning for my shift that started at 8, and I was like, well, crap. So I got to work late, but other than that, work was fine. I want to say, working with my younger sister feels like working with a friend. I have always, always, always wanted to work with a friend. And you guys might be thinking, what about weren't you friends with Ink? Technically, yes. Effectively, no. I think I've talked about all this before. My brain stopped registering her as a friend over a year ago. So even though we were technically friends, it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel like I was working with a friend. Um, it was just not fun around her. But working with my younger sister is a lot of fun. We talk about whatever all day. We have snacks. We walk around. We just work. It's a great time. Like it's the experience I've always wanted. With like yeah, it's pretty much like working with a friend. It's that experience that I've always wanted, and it's awesome. So shout out little sister. And then after work, we went to Turath, which I believe is an Arabic place or like owned place. It's got like coffee and pastries, and I got a giant slice of Oreo cheesecake and a refresher, which was like I think it was like mango, pineapple, coconut. Juice, kind of all mixed in one, kind of. I think I'm not entirely sure what the ratio was or what each thing was like what each form, one of them took. Like, was it juice? Was it syrup? Was it concentrate? I don't know, but it was good. So I went to Turath with younger sister, and that was good. Then I came back, took a shower, played a little Helldivers, played a little Dead as Disco. I made a Yap session. I made the 4th of July Yap session. I'm pretty sure I covered about everything I wanted to. Took about half an hour. I had my leftover dogs and mac. I wanted to say I got turkey hot dogs instead of beef hot dogs because they were cheaper. They were different. They had more proteins per dog, and they really weren't bad. Um, yeah, they tasted a bit, funny. I think it was because the added smoke flavor. I saw the added smoke flavor, and I was like, oh, I don't know if that's good. It wasn't too bad. It was good, mostly just because it was different. But yeah, so played a little bit of games, took a shower. I found my wireless speaker. I've kept forgetting to talk about it. Where is it right now? Is it right here? It's on my desk. Here it is. I found my wireless speaker. Ta-da! The one that my mom got for me way back when. I thought I had lost it. Well, I did lose it, but I had no memory of losing it. And I was like, did I throw it away? Did it die? Did it go bad? So I had thought that maybe it went bad. Either two things were happening in my head. Either it went bad and I threw it away and then forgot I threw it away, or I lost it, which is very rare for me. I rarely ever lose my things. But it was just on the coffee table, like with a bunch mixed in with a bunch of ink stuff, which is probably why I didn't see it. Because her stuff is kind of all over the place all the time. So it was just in the on the coffee table chilling. I was like, oh my gosh, my speaker. And I looked at it. My eyes happened to pass over it during her weird non-apology that happened yesterday. Um, but yeah, so I got my speaker back. That's cool. Um, Made the app session, ate food, and now we're talking in the siblings group chat about my older brother proposing. Um, a little bit of context around that. He has a girlfriend. They've been dating for a couple months. He got her pregnant, and now they've got to propose because obviously you can't have a kid and then not get married. And it's kind of like, it's a little bit of an odd situation, getting someone you're not married to pregnant, uh, and then, proposing to them. Like on paper, kind of looks like a bad situation, but like, it could be worse. It could be worse. I believe the story is my dad met my mom a week later after meeting. They got engaged, and then a month after meeting, they uh, got married. And then that marriage lasted like 18 years. Now, so he's doing better than my dad on that front, as he's proposing 2 months after meeting instead of 1 week after meeting. He could go full, have a cousin. I referred to her in the 4th of July episode as Brie Cheese. And in the siblings group chat, I'm like, at least he's not going full Brie Cheese mode. My cousin, her nickname currently is Brie Cheese. She, she met a dude, I think, got pregnant with 2 kids, never got married because he was a piece of crap, and then yeah, I guess not divorced because they were never married. And then she met another dude who's a really nice dude, and I think got pregnant for a third time and then got married. I don't know how the timeline happened, whether it was like got pregnant then married or married then pregnant. But like that's kind of crazy. Like I said, I think I want to say the kids are like a year apart too. So it's like we've seen worse decisions be made by people in our lives, and and that's not the worst decision that we've seen be made. He was thinking about proposing on his birthday this Friday, because he wants to surprise his girlfriend. Because she said she wanted to be surprised, and he said she's very attentive. So it would be hard to surprise her, or hard to surprise her without her noticing or catching on in some way. And I was like, I think this would be a pretty good disguise. It would be a surprise. Um, I was thinking in my head, I was like, no way um, he proposes on his birthday, right? Because like everyone would be there. It would be the perfect time. It would be a surprise. Um, you know, but like she's pregnant, right? So like they're gonna get married in my head, I assume. I think but it was all of us talking over each other at once. But it's like I'm pretty sure he's gonna get married. And like I said, he's talking about proposing, right? So if he's gonna get married, I had assumed the timeline properly, because like I said, she's pregnant. She wants to not take wedding photos while pregnant. So the plan is to get engaged, have the kid, then get married. That way you look good in the photos, and then that's what the timeline would look like. Which I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I think like, is it rushed? Yes, it's definitely rushed. But is it a bad idea? I don't think so. Like I said, my parents got married a month after meeting, then that lasted 18 months. So it's like, if we just look at those numbers, if they get engaged 2 months after, you know, meeting and then get married shortly after, then that means that their marriage would last twice as long as 18 years. You could think of it that way. But or because like I said, they're not gonna get married until after the kid, meaning they'll probably be engaged for like a year or maybe two, depending on how long they want to wait or how long it takes to plan the wedding. And then they would get married, like after a couple of years of knowing each other, which makes more sense. But yeah, so that's kind of how today's been going. It's 10:34. My to-do list today was what do we have planned? Eat, shower, practice. I haven't done that yet. Art. I want to do at least one tile on my Chuck Close that I've been working on forever. The Yap session I did. Gaming. Did some gaming. Dredge. I didn't do. But that's fine. That's not super necessary. Um, but yeah, that's today. The sibling group chat is still popping by the looks of it. So I'm gonna get back in there and I'll see you guys tomorrow, Thursday. Anyway, hello everyone, welcome to Thursday. I slept like crap today because when I went to bed, Ink was not in the apartment. I woke up at 3 in the morning to the cats. You might be thinking, didn't you have your big hearing protection on? Yes. I was like delirious, right? Woke up at 3 in the morning. I was like, oh, my hearing protection. Why did I wake up to the cats? It's gone. I'm like, okay. And I think she had come home like at that time, which is why they started meowing then. Anyway, so I put my little headphone thingies back on. Where are they? Here they are. I put them back on, and then I went to sleep, and then I woke up again, and I don't think they were on my head again. Or maybe I woke up and I took them off because I'm pretty sure you guys remember I talked about it on the Chronicle. At some point, I don't know why, after I would wear my headphones for a long time at work, they would start to get painful. Like it would literally feel like there was like a rod being jammed into my ear. It was very uncomfortable and it hurt a lot. And at some point, I think I just like didn't wear my headphones for a day. I got that feeling when I was wearing these gigantic. If you haven't, I mean, I'm sure you've seen them like in the previous entry. These gigantic things. Obviously, they're really big and not ideal for sleep, but I was hoping that they would work. And I guess like define work. Like yes, they block out the sound very well. They're not comfortable. It hurts. And also I woke up and they weren't on, and I woke up because they weren't on. Now you might be thinking, didn't you go to sleep with them on? Yes. I guess I just must have maybe I rolled over, maybe I subconsciously just boom smacked them right off my head. But I woke up something like 4 times in the night. It was so bad. Um, I remember, I think the storm woke me up at some point, actually. I remember in recent memory, a storm woke me up with this just gigantic, like the loudest lightning strike. One of the loudest I've ever heard in my whole life. That woke me up, and I woke up like terrified. But this time I woke up to the storm, and it was pretty peaceful. Like I was awake, and I wasn't sure why, but I could hear the rain pitter-pattering on the window, and it was amazing, dude. Of course, it wasn't nice to be woken up in the middle of the night by the storm, but that part of it was nice. And then I fell back asleep, and then I think I woke up later in the night, again, just in pain. My body was like, take the thing off. So then I did. And then I think I woke up. That was like, yeah, that was probably the last time I think I woke up overnight. Before then waking up to my alarm, which I mean, like, and then like, waking up for real was terrible. So I'm gonna try them one more time, just for science. Absolutely terrible first impression on it, but we gotta give it a second chance. I do have a backup plan. There's this brand called Loop earbuds. Their main marketing thing, their scheme was they wanted to make fashionable earplugs for concerts. And I'll be honest, they look pretty good. Maybe even a little bit sci-fi. I really want some. Matter of fact. But they're fairly expensive. I think it's like $40 for the pair I was looking at. I think in the past they were up to 60. I know they have multiple different kinds for different purposes. Like some are for daily life, some are for studying, some are for concerts, some are for sleeping. Heard that? Yeah. They make a kind of earplugs for sleeping, and they're also kind of cool. Now I don't know if it'll have the same effect as these. Like I said, that weird pressure in my head that hurts. I've heard some people in the past don't wear earbuds when they sleep, or sorry, earplugs when they sleep, because it creates pressure in their head and in their ears. Um, yeah, so I think if these don't work, I'll try these at least one more time, maybe more. And if that doesn't work, then I will invest in those loop earplugs. Like I said, they're pretty cool. It's literally just this kind of plastic ring within like the actual part that goes into your ear. Very simplistic, very minimalistic, very sci-fi, I think. And so I will be trying those out if these don't work for another night or possibly two. And I'm just gonna hope that those work. And even if I end up having both these and loop earplugs, and neither of them work, I don't know. It's just more stuff to have, I guess. Because I thought about getting these refunded, but then I remembered I threw away the packaging and the receipt. Because I was like, this'll work. This'll solve all my problems. Um, Not last night, it didn't. But like I said, we'll try it again one more time. And then I went to work, and work was fine. I had yogurt and granola for lunch, not because I bought yogurt. I did actually buy yogurt, but I didn't have the yogurt that I bought because we've got our shift lead. Um, I keep calling him shift lead. That's what he's called in my head. I think he's just our team lead, our production lead. This is his official title. We've got the production associates. That's me and all my coworkers. Well, me and most of my coworkers. Then there's the one production lead and the one production supervisor. And then there's the big boss, who is my dad. The director of operations is his official fancy title. Um, or I think wait, he might have gotten. I think he might be vice president. No, no, no. I think he said his title should be vice president of operations, but it's actually director of operations, which I think sounds a little bit more cool if I'm being quite honest. Like sure, vice president of operations, that sounds cool, but that sounds like kind of fancy and like uppity and like kind of like maybe even a bit pompous if I'm being quite honest. But director of operations, that sounds like a guy that gets things done. Now of course we don't see him getting many things done because he's, like I said, he is way above our pay grade. So he spends most of his time in the office or in other offices in other buildings, directing operations apparently. Anyway, so yeah, all that to say, the team lead, the production lead, he bought some yogurt, and I was like, "Who requested yogurt? No one put that on the list." He was like, "Oh yeah, but I'm sure it'll get eaten," and it has been getting eaten. And I ate some. It was this brand called Oikos. It looked really good, and it tasted pretty good as well. And now you guys might be thinking, you're like, "Hey, I thought you couldn't eat yogurt for lunch, and you gave that up." Yes, but then you remember when I then came back to eating yogurt for lunch just to try it after I got my diagnosis and started taking my meds? Which sounds a little bit serious, but it's really just an antacid on the daily. Well, yeah, I can eat yogurt now. I can eat yogurt and granola now, no problem. I almost had two. I probably should have had 2 cups, 2 yogurt cups, with granola, but I ate like one and a half, and then I got kind of full when I was eating the second one, because I had crumble cookie. I can't remember, some guy or maybe woman, um, bought the t- bought crumble cookie and then gave some of the leftovers to the production team. I don't know who that person was. I saw their name and I didn't recognize it. Maybe it was a company. I don't actually know. But yeah, so I had half a crumble cookie and then one and a half yogurt cups for lunch, and that was good. And then after work, I came home. I ran home. Well, no, I came home, ran inside to grab my electric guitar because I forgot it for lessons. And then I went to lessons. Lessons were great. Then I stopped by Jimmy John's to get dinner, and to buy 2 sub sandwich loaf bread things because I was talking about this with my mom the other day. As far as I'm aware, they do not sell sub sandwich bread in grocery stores. I think if they did, I would have found it by now because, as you guys know, I love sandwiches, and even more than sandwiches, I love sub sandwiches. But I've tried this in the past. You can't make sub sandwiches at home. Why? Because you can't get sub sandwich bread. I'm like, why are they gatekeeping the sub sandwich bread? Turns out they're not. Turns out Jimmy John's sells their bread. Now, I worked at a Subway in the past. I never heard anything about selling just the bread. Matter of fact, there was one time this girl wanted the garlic and herb bread, but she wanted just the bread. And I was like, well, I guess I could charge you for a veggie sub because that's the cheapest thing we have. But as far as I'm aware, we don't sell just the bread. And then that's what I did. Um, and then my mom was like, "Oh, Jimmy John sells their bread," and I was like, "No way." And she goes, "Yeah." And then store specifically was short on bread, so they didn't sell any. And I would also assume it varies by location, judging by how the employees there were talking as well. So I went to the Jimmy John's right next to music lessons after music lessons, and then I was like, "Hey, do you guys sell your bread?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, do you have any day old bread? Because obviously the day old bread is going to be cheaper." And they're like, "Yeah." It's like $1.50, I think, or maybe like $2 for the day old bread. Whole sub sandwich sized bread for like $1.50. That's crazy. Now, if you're making a meal with that, that's going to drive up the price of your meal by a little bit because for like, $2 you can get a whole loaf of bread, which means a whole loaf of sandwiches. But like one loaf, one whole sub sandwich bread for like 150 is great. And I mean, counting up the price of the ingredients, it's like if you use like lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, pickles, it's like the price per serving, right, is going to be much much lower than like, I think it was like $8, I think, for like just like an 8-inch sub at Jimmy John's today. And then if you want to get a meal at Subway, it's gonna be like darn near $20, and I know that because I've gone recently. I think with tip, I think it might be like $20 now a meal at Subway for a foot long, chips, and a drink. Um, so like if you do the math, the price per sandwich of a homemade sub, right? If you use a 150 loaf, and then you use store bought ingredients, deli meat, mayo, whatever, the price per sandwich is going to be astronomically lower, which is what I want. And I think I'm going to recreate my usual Subway order using the Jimmy John's bread, and I bet it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a little bit of work, because like I said, it's a whole sub sandwich, and like that's why it's a business, is because it's like it's not very realistic and easy for a person such as myself to make a whole sub sandwich. That's why it's in stores, shops, whatever. But I will make my own sub sandwich probably over the weekend. I wanted to bring it to work for lunch just to show it off. Be like, hey guys, look, I did this thing and it's so freaking cool. Um, but one, the bread is day old, and two, I really want to try it. So I'll probably go grocery shopping maybe a day or two early, specifically for those ingredients, and then make a awesome homemade sub sandwich. Maybe I'll even show it. Maybe I'll eat it live on the Chronicle. That would be kind of funny, I think. Um, but yeah, so I am very thoroughly looking forward to that. And shout out, Mom. Thank you, Mom, Movie Mom, for letting me know that you can actually buy Jimmy John's bread, just the bread, and it's afford it is a affordable, baby. Like I said, I got two, and each was like 150 or $2. So yeah, that's gonna be a dream come true, making a homemade sub sandwich. Um, and then after that, I came home and Ink had some friends over, and I have this weird thing. I think it might be autism, where I don't like doing things with other people because they're strangers to me. So I don't like I needed to shower, but I was like, I'm not gonna shower while there's strangers in my house. And I wanted to record a Dredge episode, but like I'm not gonna record a Dredge episode while a gaming episode while there's strangers in my house. So I ended up playing Dead as Disco and Helldivers for a couple hours, and then I took a shower, and then I practiced piano, and then I made lunch for tomorrow. So lunch is made for tomorrow. It's not packed. That's fine. Packing is the easy part. I just kind of throw it all in the lunchbox. I made tuna and crackers. I meant to plan that. I literally planned to make that on like Monday, because that way the celery would be fresh. The celery is still mostly fresh, so that's quite good. Um, yeah, no huge loss there. But I planned to make it on like Monday, and I just never got around to it because like unexpected things happen where it's like, oh, lunch with sister, and it's like unexpected, but I still plan that. Lunch with sister, and then sleeping like crap, which means I don't want to make lunch, and then whatever. I don't think I bought lunch this week. I think I bought lunch last week. Also, did I talk about how for some reason, it was the weekend of Surfer Girl's birthday. I didn't go grocery shopping that week because I was spending all weekend with her. And then for some reason, my brain was like, we need to go grocery shopping, but let's do this fun challenge where we see if we can survive an extra week without going grocery shopping. And I did. It was just it wasn't super hard. It was just that I don't know. I was essentially clearing through like food that I maybe would have preferred not to eat, or just like that wasn't as tasty as I would have liked it to be. Um, but I mean, it was good because I ate all the food. But then like when I had to go grocery shopping, I had to fill like 2 weeks worth of groceries, right, versus just 1 week. So it's like I had my Aldi bags full. I was lugging those things around. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, little off topic. That was everything for today, I think. Yeah, like I said, I came home, Ink had friends over. Yeah, I just went over all that. And then I practiced piano and made tuna and crackers. And now I'm gonna go to bed. Hopefully, make tomorrow awesome. Tomorrow is my older brother's birthday, so I'm gonna see his apartment for the first time ever. That's gonna be pretty cool, I think. All the siblings are gonna be there for his birthday. And like I said, he's gonna propose to his girlfriend. Um, so yeah, it should be a good time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow, Friday. Hello everyone and welcome to Friday. I let the little guy in here because he was crying outside. Um, Today I tried the headphones again, the noise canceling headphones. The huge ones. And they're still really not comfortable to wear, unfortunately. And they do still cause a little bit of pain, like I mentioned. So I don't think I'll be using those. I'll probably just hold on to them, just in case. But I don't think they're going to be a solution to the problem. One thing I noticed is I did not. I woke up at like I want to say 3 a.m. again, to the cat meowing. Again, not sure why the cat was meowing at that hour. That's just not usually when the cats do that. But my headphones had fallen off by then because I was asleep. So woke up at 3 a.m. for some reason, and then I woke up again like at my alarm. So it's weird. I didn't wake up when I normally would wake up to the cat's and ink making noise. Um, And I think it's because I was just so tired. Like because I've been losing sleep more lately. I've been more tired, which means it's easier for me to stay asleep because my body needs it. I'm looking at the cat. He's wandering around my room. I don't want him messing with stuff, but I don't want him crying outside either. Anyway, yeah. Um, yeah. So it seems like it's weird. Sometimes I can sleep through because that's the second time that I've slept through. The cats and ink making noise at 6 a.m. Again, not sure how. I think it was because, like I said, I was extra tired. But yeah, so I will be ordering those loop earplugs after I record this, and then hopefully those work better. Anyway, I went to work. Work was good. Stayed till 5, even though I really didn't want to, because we finished up like before 2 p.m. It was crazy. And then I just did like I was gonna help out with K cups, and I did for a little bit, and then the machine kind of jammed up, so I then stopped that, and then just did like labeling and trays. Boy, don't mess with my blanket, man. Come here. Oh, okay. Um, yeah, so work was fine. After that, I came immediately home just to drop off like my lunchbox and the stuff in it. And then I went to Price Chopper to get cookies, or not cookies, to get. It sounds like he's just destroying that blanket. Can you hear that? Usually when he makes biscuits, it's not that aggressive. Is he messing it up, buddy? Um, it doesn't seem like he is, but I'm gonna hold him just in case. Then I went to Price Chopper to get cupcakes and chips for my older brother's birthday today. That went well. That was very fun. I of course went straight there. I was the only one on time, and even then I was about 3 minutes late. Um, so I wasn't totally on time. But I mean, in terms of like Jones family time, I was on time, yeah, even early. Yeah, so the party was good. It was a lot of fun. There was good food, fried chicken, chips. There was like pasta salad for a side, soda, very good. Um, I was there for like from 6 to like 10:30. It was a long time. It was a lot of fun. It was all the siblings, right, and myself included, and then my brother's girlfriend, my older sister's boyfriend, and then my younger brother brought one of his friends briefly, and then they left early. And then I came back and I played a little bit of Dead as Disco just for fun because it's Friday. It's a weekend I can stay up. Um, so I did that, and then I practiced piano, and I'm recording this. And that was my day. That was everything. Um, yeah, didn't do a whole lot other than that, but that's okay. I also got invited to the pool party at my older sister's apartment this Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that. And I might be working out with my little sister. Oh, okay, I will not be working out with my little sister because she's going to the mall with her friend at 12:30. Um, but yeah, that was today. I'm trying to think of like leaving anything out. That was pretty much all of it. Um, yeah. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow, Saturday. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunday, technically. As you might notice, it's the daytime. And now I usually record during the nighttime. But there's no entry for Saturday. There is no Saturday. Today is Sunday. But I am making this entry for Saturday. That way, the Sunday entry isn't so long. And I'm trying to fix my hair. Um, and I can hopefully get to sleep sooner because was it today and yesterday I slept for about 10 hours. Nothing really wrong with that. It's just that I would prefer not to. But again, I let my body sleep for 10 hours because I assume that it needs the sleep. I know, yeah, I guess I have been losing a lot of sleep earlier this week with the whole cats and my roommate and stuff. And the whole earmuffs not working. Don't worry, I did order those. Hold on. Just thing on the microphone. Okay, it's still there. Sorry, I don't know if you can actually hear this or not. Pretty sure touching the microphone will all make noise. Anyway, I did order those loop earplugs. Um, man, it's so yeah. See, the thing about recording during the daytime is it's really bright from the window, but my ring light is on the same side as the window. So now this part's dark, but that's fine. Anyway, I did order those loop earplugs, but they're gonna take 7 to 15 business days to get here, and I'm like, oh my god. Like I said, there's been two occasions where I've slept through the morning ruckus. Again, don't know why or how, but I just am gonna have to hope that that keeps happening. That way I don't feel like crap every single day, Monday through Friday. Yeah, unless I could change my start time to 6, but we don't need people at 6 really. We need more people for the. That's not fine. Anyway, so Saturday, yesterday, man, I'm trying to remember what happened. I know a few big events. I recorded Dredge. I bought all of the DLC for it actually. And it's so fun, guys. I mean I can't even believe it. I can't even believe how fun it is. It's so fun. So I started the Iron Rig DLC in Dredge. I got an episode of that already uploaded. Very, very fun. I finished that art project, and I want to apologize to anyone who wanted to see that, especially because it's been so long coming. I finished it, and then I tried fixing it, and then I made it worse, and then I tried fixing it, and then I made it even worse, and then I tried fixing it, and then I made it even worse. So it ended up being so bad that I threw it away. I ripped it out of my sketchbook and just threw it in the trash. Um, I was like, I can't. I would be upset if people saw this. Like I said, it was good enough until I tried fixing it, and then I made it worse, and then I tried fixing it, and then I made it worse, and it's like, I thought about like literally doing a whole nother drawing to make up for it, but I was like, I don't really have to make up for it. But yeah, so sorry to anyone who wanted to see that. It is dead and gone in the trash now, forever. But at least I did it. Yeah, so I played a little bit of Helldivers, a little bit of Dead as Disco. I did the episode of Dredge, practiced piano, and then I think this weekend's been a bit odd. I guess this week in general, actually. But yesterday we were going to probably maybe do movie night with Parkour and Bones, and then they both canceled, and then me and Surfer Girl had scheduled time. We played Ember Knights. That was a lot of fun. Um, and then I believe that's about the most important things that happened yesterday. You know, everything kind of that was worth remembering, for lack of a better word. Um, so yeah, and then I came back, went to sleep, woke up 10 hours later. Now I wanted to go to the gym uh, today. I don't think I will. It's really weird because I want to go to the gym, but I also want to eat before going to the gym. But as you guys know, I have a little trouble eating because of I can now say with confidence, mild chronic gastritis. Um, and the thing is, I don't, the biggest thing is I don't get hungry, which means I don't eat, which usually means that, well, a lot of bad things. But one of the things is, of course, I don't want to go to the gym without eating. Um, right? Step one, eat. Step two, go to the gym. You cannot get to step two before going to step one, right? The thing is that on the weekends, I've noticed, I feel like in the past, my stomach problem usually always gets worse on the weekends. And I'm like, why is that? If we look at my Monday through Friday day to day, I wake up at 7:30 and I actually don't eat until 10 a.m. when the break. Then I have snacks. And then I don't eat until lunch at noon after that, an hour and a half later. And I was literally thinking about that on the way home from the grocery store earlier. Um, Kind of a shocking revelation that I actually don't eat 3.5 hours after waking up. Because what I've been trying to do today and yesterday is I try and eat like within an hour or two of waking up. That way I can go to the gym sooner. Because the thing is, on the weekends, the gym closes earlier than usual. That's a problem. Because, I wake up at 10. 3.5 hours after 10 would be like 1:30, right? Because 10, 11, 12. I guess if you count the hour of 10, 11, then 12, 30, it'd be like 12:30, right? Now the thing is that okay, if I eat, even if I finish a meal right at 12:30, I then have to wait a couple hours after eating before going to the gym. I just googled that. It was how often or how quick soon after eating can you go to the gym, and it was like, well, if you eat a big meal, you're gonna want to eat or wait 2 to 3 hours. And if I did wait 3.5 hours to eat like I usually do, then I would eat a full meal, which means that I would then have to wait about 2 or 3 hours before going to the gym. But if it's 12:30 and I wait 3 hours, then it's 3:30. If I get to the gym at 3:30, well, that would be kind of right on time, but that would be pushing it because my workout usually takes an hour. The gym closes at 5, then it would be 4:30 by the time I'm done. Um, but like that's like a whole lot of pressure, to just get everything done as soon as possible, which is not super fun. And it's just, man, this lighting is annoying me so much, and my hair. Everything's awful. No, it's fine. So yeah, so was it today? Actually, wait, we're not talking about today. We're talking about yesterday. Oh wait, I guess that was everything for yesterday. Um, I was gonna start talking about today, but I think we'll save that for later this evening. Um, yeah, I believe that was everything that happened yesterday. I was going on a whole tangent. I think I was thinking about going to the gym yesterday, and I was like, stomach's being weird. I'll go tomorrow. And now it is tomorrow, but I'll get to tomorrow, which is today, later today. Um, but yeah, that's everything for Saturday, and I will see you all this evening for the final report for Sunday. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Oh, hold on. Let me pose for the thumbnail. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. And welcome back to the Chronicle. Hello, everyone, 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 and welcome back to the Chronicle. Putting them on pause. Some vitamin C. Because there's like a very, very low chance that I could get them sick because my throat is still slightly sore. Sprays hot engine oil on my face. My friend. You don't know which friend is which friend. You don't know what friend is who. Because I'm only thinking about right now. I'm only thinking about what I need to do right now. But, welcome back to the Daily Weekly Report. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thursday. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunday. Well, hold on, let me see. Hey Siri, 1 minute and 17 seconds into the recording. As you might notice, I look a little different today because I'm wearing stuff on my head. One of them invited me to their birthday at Worlds of Fun, of course, with the rest of the group. Chocolate flavored protein powder that I enjoy. Yeah. See you all tomorrow, Wednesday. I will see you all tomorrow, Tuesday. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunday for the final report. What you just saw was the supercut. I know it wasn't super duper impressive or anything. Matter of fact, I'd say it was pretty bad actually. I think it was like it was okay, but you know it's so upsetting. I thought the clips would be way harder to get than they were. It wasn't that they were very hard to get. It was just that the actual process of clipping them was fairly difficult. Also, I've got Void here because for some reason, I don't know why, he really wanted to come into my room. I'm talking like I walked in the door and he walked in right, like I didn't even notice. Like I walked in my room, I closed the door, and then boom, he was in here too. And then I tried kicking him out, and then he started crying outside the door. So I was like, okay, I guess he can hang out in here for a while. He's over there. Anyway, yeah, so that was the supercut. If this were like an awards show or like anything that had any kind of, you know, grandiose kind of grandeur at all, I would like be like, "Oh, thank you to the people and for watching, and I couldn't have done this without you." But the truth is that no one's watching, and I did it all by myself. So thank you to me for continuing this for a year. I feel like it has benefited me. I think. I suspect that if I wasn't doing this, I would be in a worse place than I am now. Because this kind of just makes me feel more real. You know what I'm saying? One thing, I don't know if I've said this, is it makes, in terms of the gaming videos, it makes my hobby feel more valid and more real because you can see it, you know? Anyone can see it. Um, and I think the Chronicle is like, it's like I can say as much as I want, right? But with this, you know, you can see it. Like over the years, I remember since graduating, I did the whole thing with the boxing gym, and then I did the thing with. Okay, so Void just stopped the recording there by putting his paw on the spacebar. I did the boxing gym, and then I did the online college, and then I did UMKC, and then I think I did before UMKC I did KU, and then not and then so far none of that has worked out, right? And now I'm trying KU again. If I'm being quite honest, I can't see a future there, but we'll know as we get closer to the date. Anyway, continuing on the supercut because I don't want to get on a tangent. Um, yeah, the clips weren't super hard to get. It was just really tedious to actually edit them. And also, what I was so mad about was as I was looking through the footage, I noticed I didn't have my microphone muted. And also, I thought that the play bar for the video was out of the actual, you know, recording window. Turns out it wasn't. And that was another thing. I was like, how do I capture just like how do I actually record, these clips? Because like yeah, they're there, but I don't have the video files anymore. I used to store all of the video files, and then they just started taking up more and more space. And I was like, oh, these are gonna take up all of the space on my computer if I try to keep them. And at one point, I was like, I'm gonna get a USB and put them all in the USB. But that was actually turned out to be super, super tedious. And also, it's like, why would I need all of those in the first place? Especially if they're already on, YouTube, they're on there. Um, but yeah, so what I did was I recorded just the window of Chrome, and then I expanded it so that essentially most of it was actually off screen, off of the like not in the recording window. And I thought that I had cut the play bar off, apparently not. So in terms of things that didn't go well, the play bar was in the video. You could hear my keyboard and my mouse. Most of it I think was not. Most of it wasn't in the supercut, but you can hear clicks I think every now and then. And also it wasn't quite as long as I wanted. What I ended up doing was I would just open up the playlist, the YouTube playlist, and I'd click through one video, I'd look for something, click through one video, and for something. It wasn't perfect. Like I said, it wasn't perfect. It was okay. Was it bad? I wouldn't say it was bad, but it's not not much of a supercut, but I think it's good. It's good enough. I would like it to be better, but yeah, like I said, it's really, really tedious to actually go through and, cut all those together. And now I've got to cut two of these clips together because the freaking cat, hey, stop my recording. Also, am I using my the mic microphone? The right microphone. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Um, yeah. Anyway, today's Sunday, the final report. Today was weird because it felt similar to yesterday, where I just felt very directionless. And I know the day planner was supposed to help with that, but sometimes it's hard to plan my days whenever I have so much time. Like with work, it's easy because it's like half your day is spent at work, the other half you cram in as many things as you want or need to do. He's trying to eat a ruler under the desk right now. Um, he's not succeeding. Um, with like the weekdays, it's like you just do what you want and need to, and then by the time you do what you want and need to do, your day's over. Hey buddy. So with the weekend, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? Yesterday, like I said, I already went over that. Today, I woke up and I think yeah, it's so weird. One thing I had a little bit of realization, which I talked about yesterday, was that I don't actually eat until 3.5 hours after waking up. In my head, it was only an hour or two, and then when I actually looked at the numbers in my head, I was like, oh, I don't eat for 3.5 whole hours. You know what I'm saying? He loves this, by the way. Um, I don't eat for 3.5 hours, and even then, I don't have a whole meal. I have snacks. The whole meal comes even later, an hour and a half later. So yeah, I'm thinking like, how do I translate that into the weekend? Because I don't do, it's like it's also one thing is I'm working, which means I'm moving around a lot. I'm not really moving around a lot while I'm at home, and of course I could just like go on a walk, go on a run, do whatever. But it's hot outside. The weather is not always nice, so it's like I don't want to, first thing in the morning go on a 20-minute walk and then come back all sweaty. It was different when I had my bike because whenever you're biking, the breeze and the speed pretty much keeps you cool. Um, but yeah, I don't have my bike anymore. It's at Surfer Girl's house, and I tried once to get it in my car. I'd probably have to remove the tire to get it in my car, but that just seems like so much work, bro. I don't know. It could be nice. So yeah, I've got to figure out how to not eat better, but some system that will actually allow me to eat because I don't feel hungry much, right? And it's hard to eat if you're not hungry. But then I was like, oh, because I'd been waiting usually 1 or 2 hours after waking up before I try eating on the weekend, and then I would end up in situations where it's like I feel like I should have eaten more. Why didn't I? Maybe because I didn't wait quite as long as I should have. Because like I said, on weekdays it's 3.5 hours. On weekends, I usually only wait two. So it probably just boils down to waiting longer, which doesn't sound too bad. The problem is that I try to work out on the weekends, either on Saturday or Sunday. Hey, bud, are you trying to eat those papers again? Well, not eat them, he's just playing with them. Um, yeah, so there's that time pressure of the gym. Now, actually, I didn't go to the gym today, and I wanted to do my workout outside. The weather was nicer than I thought it would be. Slight issue. They trimmed, as in they removed the branches that I would do pull-ups on the tree that I would usually do pull-ups on. Um, so I got there and I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna do my workout? I ended up doing only like one circuit of the three, and then I was like, I just don't feel like I don't have it in me. Um, I I don't know if it would be correct to say I feel depressed, but I was like, I just don't feel like it. I don't want to. I don't have it in me. I can't. I could have. I just, like I said, I really didn't want to. This is why I don't like having him in here because he messes with stuff. I mean, it's just paper, but it's paper that I need. But I can't have him out there because he starts crying. So, kind of a lose lose, feels like. Um, yeah, fine. Anyway, so today's events, woke up, I had a bagel for breakfast, and then my stomach felt, neither better nor worse. He's trying to get in the trash right now. Stop that. Stop that. I can hold it. Okay. Hey there, buddy. Okay, don't. What if I just hold you? Oh, you're laying down. Nope. Yeah, that's the thing is this guy does not like laying down. He's always moving. I think this cat has ADHD. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, um, so yeah, I had a bagel and I felt neither better nor worse, nor hungry, nor more hungry, nor less hungry. Didn't do anything really. So that was kind of weird. I ended up making a chicken Caesar salad with that salad that I bought, or not salad, the chicken that I bought, that was like pre-shredded and cooked and all that. It was decent. It was decent. I got it all mixed up in a bag. I left out the ranch whenever I mixed up in the bag because I was like, wait, maybe it'll keep better because, it makes more than one serving if I leave out the ranch, because then the croutons don't get soggy, the whole thing doesn't get as soggy. Looks like he wants to go out now. I'm gonna let him out real quick. Okay. Anyway, yeah, man, I gotta get this over with, kind of. Bagel, got that. I got ingredients for the sub sandwiches tomorrow. Um, what else did I do? Played some games, played lots of games. Didn't record anything because I didn't really feel like it. Um, I think I'll start that up again tomorrow. Uh, Man, yeah, it just feels like I did nothing. I wanted to make more progress on the scholarship goal, but the website is down for maintenance. And I'm like, bro, what do you mean it's down for maintenance? Apparently it undergoes regular maintenance. And I think it's down for maintenance all day, maybe. I'll check again after I do this. But I'm like, what the heck, man? So I couldn't do anything on that. And again, I'm hesitant to apply to KU because it's one, a pain in the butt. Two, it's all for nothing if I don't get that hero scholarship. So it's like, oh my gosh. But also, it's like the sooner the better because it's college and scheduling and first come first serve and whatever, whatever. Because like if I do get into college and go for like high school PE teacher, then that's gonna alter the course of my whole life for the next like up to however many years. And I hear the cat crying outside the door again. That's annoying me. I'm not seeing activity on the mic, so I think that means you guys can't hear it. But oh my god, dude, these cats. I've never lived with cats more annoying than these ones, dude. The big one, Arcane, she gets into everything. He's still crying out there. He gets in, the Arcane gets into everything, and to the point where she will knock over the trash, eat the trash, and then throw up on Ink's jacket the next morning. And also, one of them had diarrhea outside of the litter box this morning. You might be thinking, why are they pooping outside the litter box? That's a great question. I would suspect it's because they're kicking the litter out of the litter box and Ink doesn't sweep it up. So then they think, oh, there's litter outside of the litter box. Must be able to poop here as well. So they just start pooping outside the litter box. So now the living room smells worse and worse, especially with the diarrhea outside the living room or outside the litter box. That smelled extra bad. Um, and now she uses wood pellets in the first place because they would kick the litter out of the litter box. So she was like, "Oh, wood pellets. They won't can't kick those out. They still do, just not as much. And then she doesn't clean it up, and then they poop outside the litter box. He's tearing up my thingy. Um, yeah, so that's cool. What was I even saying? Something school, my life? I don't know, man. Uh, Sometimes I feel so up, and then sometimes I feel so down. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure what controls that. Um, but like I said, it's like I usually don't feel quite as, I don't know if bummed is the right word. It's just I feel kind of extra bad and aimless today. Um, yeah, I should use the day planner. I think that usually helps. But then sometimes stuff happens where it's like, oh, your roommate apologized for nothing specifically, and now you have too much anxiety, so you can't eat food anymore. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, and that takes up like an hour and a half of my day. Um, yeah. So you can only plan for so much. I don't know if the mic was picking me up while I was down there. Yeah. And like sometimes I'm like, man, do I even want to be a high school PE teacher? I think it would be fun. I really like the structure that I think that would bring to my life, you know? Because like I don't like how with a 9 to 5, it's 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and you don't get very many breaks. I think there's like one holiday per month on average. Um, Actually, I don't think we have any in February. Um, I think in January we've got like MLK Day. But yeah, I don't like the 9 to 5 grind is cool and everything. It's consistent, pretty decent money, but it's just like tiresome. Especially when, you know, your roommate wakes up 2 hours before you and then ruins your sleep for the night every single night. And the headphones that you bought are painful to wear and they're uncomfortable. So then you buy earbuds, and then the earbuds were ordered online, so they're going to take like up to 15 business days to get here. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like, was it literally the other day I was making a bagel and I had the bagel out on the counter and then I went to go pee, and by the time I came back, this little guy had already eaten some of it. So that's pretty cool. Um, yeah. Today's events, there's not many. Um, yeah, I'm also a little extra upset right now because now it's just a venting hour. Sorry, guys. Because I need to go to sleep in 55 minutes, but I also need to shower, and I also need to practice an instrument. I don't have time for both of those, but I really want and need to do both of those. So now I have to make a choice. Do I shower or practice an instrument? I can always just shower tomorrow. The instrument, I've got to get 4 practices in, technically. I can't even remember the last time I got 4 practices in on both instruments. Got 3 for piano so far, none for guitar. So I've got to get a guitar practice in before today ends. And I really want to try and sleep because life is a whole lot easier whenever you sleep regularly and whenever you sleep enough. And I have not been sleeping enough lately because my roommate and her cats wake me up. Can't find a way to fix that any faster than waiting for that thing. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, man, I could have been out of here like in a few weeks if I would have broken the lease way back when I thought about it. Um, and I was like, is it worth it now? I don't know. Like, it's pretty bad, but I guess it could be worse. Um, anyway, I think that's everything for today. Yeah, next week I'm gonna have a lot of sandwiches, which I am excited for. Specifically the sub sandwich because I bought that bread. But that's next week. I think that's everything for this week. Like I said, I don't know, because one thing that's really annoying about KU is how many freaking Zoom appointments. Do you guys remember how many Zoom appointments I had to go to? Talking to this person, talking to that person. And like one thing that was weird was like in one of the appointments, they schedule your classes, but I'm like, why? Like, I don't want you to do that. I want to do that for myself, but this one is like, oh yeah, make your schedule in this appointment. And I'm like, what the flip, bro? And like I know I got accepted last year. Do I have to get reaccepted? Do I have to fill out a whole nother application? Probably. And then it's like I have to go through all that work just to wait for a hero scholarship that may or may not be valid. Life's hard, man. I think with just living like day to day, what I referred to as the simple life, where it's like I work, I come home, I play video games, I hang out with friends, and life is great. I wouldn't mind that, but what I would mind is telling people that that is all that my life is. It's not necessarily bad. It's just I kind of feel like a bum. Um, but yeah, I heard a statistic saying most people don't find out what they want to do until they're in their 30s, as in like career wise. And I'm like, okay, I can believe that. Because it's like I saw this one, funny enough, it was an Instagram reel talking about how sheepdogs, dogs that herd sheep, they just do that, right? They never question it. That's literally what they're born to do, and they do that. And sometimes people are the same way. They find something and they're really good at it and they love doing it as if they were, as if it's what they were born to do. And then the whole point of that reel was saying, find your sheep, find what you were born to do. And I'm like, well, I really like music. I like music a lot. But it's like, how do you turn that into a job? That's a question I've asked myself before. And it's the same with video games. And you could go for like esports, or you could go for YouTuber, you know. But it's like those are really hard to get into. Same with like a job and a career in music. Um, and it like my dad believes in me. He's like, buddy, I would call the studios for you if I had time. And I appreciate that, but I don't think I'm good enough to just to like call a studio like directly. Like that just sounds like almost a bit arrogant, but obviously I would be respectful about it being like, "Hey, are you guys hiring? Is there any kind of job I can have here?" I wouldn't be like, "Hey, let me on as a studio musician. Pay me a whole lot." But it just kind of seems like hotshot behavior to call a studio and ask for a job. And I've never really felt like a hotshot. Um, sometimes I do. Like when I'm playing badminton and no one else is good at badminton, I feel like a hot shot. Whenever I'm playing Smash Bros and no one's better than me, I feel like a hot shot. Uh, there's a couple songs on piano where I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of feel like a hot shot, but I'm not confident, to like call a studio or anything like that. And you could make your own music. It's just that I don't really know what kind of music I would make. Like sometimes melodies pop into my head, but you need more than just one melody for a song. Like, yeah, I could start there, but I've tried. Do you guys remember that the several times I've made a goal where the goal was just write a song and I just never did it? Yeah. Well, this guy's finally settling down. He's not moving around as much. I'm massaging his ears. He seems to like it a lot. Yeah. I think that's everything. Like I said, I really didn't do much today. Groceries, gaming, supercut. I did do that supercut. That was one of the goals that was on there. Also, one thing, I was gonna hold the sticky notes I've got here. The resin goal is officially canceled now. That's not anything to be upset about because it was a long time coming. If you here, I'll show you. So every single little clock symbol that you see on here is 1 week that this has been on the board. And at this point, I actually don't have the required materials to complete the goal anymore because I gave them to my coworker who said he would cast it in resin, and then he never did. I'm not upset about it because, like I said, it was technically garbage. It was 4 pieces of an Xbox controller that I wanted to cast in resin as a paperweight. So I'm not tripping over, it being canceled or gone forever. And also the supercut goal is complete now as well. That was, like I said, not perfect, not good, but good enough. Funny enough, there's this song. It's kind of a meme song actually, and the part that kept getting clipped was the chorus, where he would say "Du bist gut genug," which in German means "you are good enough," and I thought that was actually really cute. That was like that was amazing because it's like I said, it's a meme song. There's memes where like that song will be playing, and I think people think it's funny because it just sounds like gibberish. Like when I was listening to the song, and it's this guy singing in a falsetto. Uh, I was like, is this gibberish or is this an actual language? And I was like, it kind of sounds like German. And then I looked up, it's a real song. It is in German, and it means you are good enough. And I was like, oh man, that's actually really sweet. Sometimes it's funny what actually gets turned into a meme, with like that. Um, so yeah, the supercut wasn't good, but it was good enough. Yeah, sorry for the depression hour, but I've just felt bummed today. I'm sure things will turn up, you know, better next week. Also, there was supposed to be a pool party. Not They said not technically a pool party, but a bunch of friends over at my older sister's apartment complex, and that never happened because someone pooped in the pool. So that got closed for the day. All the other goals are on pause except for guitar catch up, which I did not make any progress on today. Sorry again. I will try next week. Anyway, this has gone on for far too long. Um, Thank you all for watching. And oh no, I want to do my sign off. Sign off. Okay. My name is Asher. That was the Chronicle. And if you ever feel a little bit lost in life, try picking up a day planner. It might help. And I'll see you all next week. Bye.